Now, at the start of the year, Samsung unveiled the Samsung Galaxy S10 Lite, which in my opinion was one of the best Samsung smartphones launched to date. Now, you might be wondering, why is that? Now, it surely didn't have the best looking design, nor did it offer class leading cameras. Well, the biggest thing for me with the Samsung Galaxy S10 Lite was the processor that the phone was powered by, and it was among the rare breed of Samsung phones to actually use Qualcomm Snapdragon SoC. Now, the reason I'm talking about the Samsung Galaxy S10 Lite, which launched at the beginning of the year, is because today I will be reviewing the company's Samsung Galaxy M51, which in a lot of ways draws parallels to the company's recently launched Samsung Galaxy M31s, but it comes with one big upgrade which has made me want to use this phone day in and day out.
But before we get on with the video, I'd like you to know that the cool folks at Glazed Ink have sponsored this video. Now, I'm sure you already know about them, but if you have been living under a rock, Glazed Ink makes tempered glass for most phones retailing in the budget, mid-range and flagship segment. So if you have a phone, chances are you'll be able to find a high quality tempered glass for it from Glazed Ink. Now, I'm sure that should you buy the M51 after watching this review, then you will be able to get a good tempered glass from Glazed Ink for the phone too. Also, for our audience, we have a special discount code which should be on your screen right now, so go make the most of it.
Okay, so if you've seen my review of the Samsung Galaxy M31s, then you know what to expect from the design of the Samsung Galaxy M51. Now, this is essentially just a taller, slightly wider and heavier version of the Samsung Galaxy M31s, especially in terms of the design.
So the smartphone borrows pretty much everything from the M31s, be it its curvy back or its L-shaped camera module, which by the way sits flush on the M51 just like it did on the M31s. Now, while all that's good and dandy, the M51 weighs just 213 grams, which at first might seem like a lot, but wait until you hear about the capacious battery inside this thing. Yes, this phone comes with a 7000 mAh battery, so you can get all your power bank jokes in right now. But let's not steer away from the fact that squeezing a 7000 mAh battery inside a chassis that's this thin and this comfortable to use on a day-to-day basis is nothing short of an engineering marvel. So Samsung, please give yourself a pat on the back. And trust me, this is a very comfortable phone to use on a day-to-day basis. It's still not meant for one-handed usage, mind you, but neither was the M31s, and in all fairness, I never felt any hand fatigue set in after using the M51 day in and day out.
Now, if you want a good example of a phone that is uncomfortable to use, try spending a day with the ROG Phone 3. But let's not get carried away here.
Now, part of the reason why the M51 is so darn light is because it has been constructed in entirety using polycarbonate. Now, don't worry, the phone still feels quite robust and there are no creaking issues anywhere either, but when compared to the glass back toting OnePlus Nord, this does lose out on some style points. Now, where it does get an edge over the Nord, however, is with its SIM tray, and unlike the Nord, the M51 comes with a 2+1 SIM tray, which will let you expand the phone's storage and use 2 SIM cards at the same time. Furthermore, the smartphone also comes with a side-mounted capacitive fingerprint sensor, which in my testing wasn't just quicker when compared to the Nord's in-display counterpart, but also more convenient to use. Now, the smartphone also comes equipped with a headphone jack, which is a miss on the OnePlus Nord, so if you fancied listening to music or watching movies using a trusty old pair of 3.5mm headphones, the M51 is going to make a strong case over the Nord if you ask me. Now, moving on, the smartphone comes with a volume rocker on its right-hand spine, which I felt was positioned a tad too high on the M51. But on the bright side, the keys weren't mushy in the slightest, so you have that to look forward to at the very least. Now, what you won't enjoy, however, is the haptic feedback on the M51, and this is one area where the OnePlus Nord blows the competition, including the M51, out of the water. Now, the M51 offers a loose and flabby vibration motor which took away from the typing experience of the phone, so if anyone from Samsung is watching this video, please offer better haptics on your next M series phone. Now, like I mentioned a while ago, you do get a headphone jack with the M51, which works as it should. There's no interference or static whilst connecting a pair of 3.5mm earphones to the phone, which is great. Now, the mono speaker, on the other hand, which is also positioned at the bottom by the way, however, that could have been a little louder for sure. Now thankfully, the phone comes with all the sensors, so be it a proximity sensor or an electronic compass, you'll find it all here. And the call quality was to my liking too, by the way. I tested the phone on Airtel's 4G SIM and got excellent network coverage where I lived, so if you're the type to make a lot of phone calls, the M51 will serve you well.
Now coming to the display, the Samsung Galaxy M51 comes with a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus Super AMOLED display with an Infinity O notch at the center.
Now make no mistake, this is a fantastic screen to feast your eyes on, and I've thoroughly enjoyed my time watching movies and shows on the screen so far. Now, the display is plenty big and bright, and the notch is minuscule in comparison to what you get with competing devices, so I always got an immersive experience while streaming shows on the phone. Now speaking of which, the handset is Widevine L1 certified too, so you can indeed stream shows from Netflix and Prime in HD resolution. HDR support unfortunately is only present for YouTube videos, so this is one area where the Nord's display is better, as the phone would let you stream titles in HDR from Netflix too. Now another thing you should know here is that the display on the M51 is capped at 60Hz, which is a bummer, especially given the phone's price point, but I got acclimated to the screen pretty quickly. Again, I don't have to talk about the pros of a high refresh rate display to you guys, and given the choice between the display on say the Nord and the one on the M51, I'd side with the screen on the Nord in a heartbeat. Also, at 420 nits, the maximum brightness on the M51 screen is a tad low, and this is also where Nord comes out on top, as it can do 1000 nits of brightness for HDR playback and 700 nits for normal usage. Now all things considered, the OnePlus Nord definitely has a better screen, but the M51's panel is not all that far behind and is quite gorgeous to look at too.
Now before I wrap up the display section, you should know that the Samsung Galaxy M51 actually comes with a layer of Corning's Gorilla Glass version 3 on top of the display, so that should prevent scratches and scuffs to a certain degree. Now the USP of the Samsung Galaxy M51, barring its 7000 mAh battery obviously, is that it is the first smartphone in the M series to actually use a Qualcomm processor, in particular the Qualcomm Snapdragon 730G. And let me tell you, that makes a world of a difference when using the M51 as a daily driver.
Apps loaded swiftly on the phone with little to no delay, scrolling through my Twitter or IG feed net zero stutters, and just using the phone every day, be it for typing a message using a third-party app like SwiftKey, resulted in such improved performance. Now with the M31s, I noticed that the keyboard in itself would lag at times, which is why I had to turn off the key pop-ups when using it on the phone. But with the M51, I never had to worry about fine-tuning an app settings for it to net not good but just serviceable performance. Now with over 60 different apps installed, out of which around 6 to 7 were always running in the background, the performance I was offered by the M51 didn't leave me wanting for more. Now is this the best performance money can buy? Absolutely not. Now the OnePlus Nord, for instance, will net a higher score in synthetic benchmarks, and I noticed the phone's day-to-day performance to be a tad smoother too. Now the Realme X3, on the other hand, which offers a Snapdragon 855 Plus processor, will literally blow the M51 and the OnePlus Nord out of the water with its performance. But so long as you're not chasing a new high score on Antutu, I will say that the M51's performance will not disappoint you. The phone comfortably runs popular games like Call of Duty Mobile on respectable settings, and even after an hour or so of gaming, I didn't notice the device heat up, which is great. Now if you're more of a casual gamer, then you should have no issues running titles like Clash Royale or Alto's Adventure smoothly on the phone.
Now all things considered, the Samsung Galaxy M51 offers excellent performance, which is what set it apart for me from other Samsung M series phones like the M31s for instance. Now in terms of software, the Samsung Galaxy M51 comes with the company's One UI Core 2.1 on top of Android 10.
Now this is the core version, so you will find some features not present on the M51, but to be very honest with you, the core experience remains exactly the same as you would get with a standard One UI running phone. Now, for instance, you'll get all the essential features of Android 10, such as a built-in dark mode and navigational gestures, but you also get interesting software-based features from Samsung itself, including the ability to open apps in small windows on your home screen for better multitasking, and numerous gesture-based commands, including but not limited to 3-finger screenshots. Now, there's support for call recording, and you also get a built-in screen recorder with the app, and lest I forget, the handset is indeed running the latest security patch from Google too. So these are a lot of hits, but where does the phone miss when it comes to software? Well, firstly, you still won't find support for Samsung's excellent good lock feature on the M51, which offers oodles of lock screen customizability. Now, you do get Samsung themes with the phone, but the selection there is average at best. Also, not on the list of features M series phones should get, game plugins from Samsung, which essentially let you get detailed insight into your phone's temperature whilst gaming. Now, the handset also comes with a lot of bloatware baked into the OS, including some pretty tragic games if I say so myself. So while One UI offers a pretty good experience overall, there's still plenty of room for improvement here.
Now, as for the battery life, do I even have to say it? This phone offers excellent battery life, and it is easily a 2-day phone even for heavy or performance focused users.
Heck, I got around 4 hours of screen on time the day I unboxed the phone, and the battery was at just 38% then. So suffice it to say, this phone is easily going to outlast your current smartphone. Now, charging time for the battery isn't all that bad either, considering there's a 7000 mAh cell here. Now, that's primarily because you get a 25-watt charger in the box, which will fuel the phone from 0 to 100 completely in 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Now, camera-wise, the Samsung Galaxy M51 comes with the same cameras you'd find on the Samsung Galaxy M31s.
Now, correspondingly, you'll get a 64-megapixel Sony IMX682 main sensor with the phone, which works alongside a 12-megapixel wide-angle lens, a 5-megapixel depth sensor, and a 5-megapixel macro sensor. For selfies, the device gets a 32-megapixel Sony IMX616 sensor up front. Now, if you've seen my review of the Samsung Galaxy M31s, then you'll know that I was mighty impressed with the phone's camera prowess, and unsurprisingly, I found the results to be just as good, if not better, through the M51's lens. Now, let's start with the wide shots, and here, the M51 put forth an aesthetically pleasing photo time and again, which was rich in colors and details. Now, this is a Samsung phone, so you'd be wise to assume that the phone does boost certain colors, in particular the greens, blues and the reds in a photo. Now, the same is exhibited when you click photos with the handset scene optimizer enabled, but to be entirely honest with you, the post-processing done by the software comes across as pleasing rather than obnoxious this time around. I also like how at 100% crop, all the images were quite crisp, although you cannot forego some amount of over-sharpening here. Still, for the most part, the M51 impressed me immensely with its daylight photos, as they offered a healthy amount of details, excellent dynamic range and good exposure check, meaning even if I click the image of say a very bright sky, I could get away with little to no highlight clipping, which essentially are bright white spots in a photo. Heck, when compared to my daily drive with the OnePlus 8, the handset output a slightly better image with more details being brought out from the shadows, which is evident if you can look at the leaves of the trees near the road. Now, the close-ups net a similarly pleasing result too, and I was in awe of the details the phone could capture when the lens was right next to the subject. The images had excellent sharpness and a pleasing natural bokeh effect, which can be seen in the photos of the white flower and the brown leaf. I also like how, unlike other M series phones, the M51 doesn't blotch the red shade, and you can clearly make out the definition of the petals of this red flower in this shot. Again, the colors aren't how they should be, but you could achieve a more tonally accurate image with the phone's scene optimizer turned off. The 64-megapixel shot from the M51 was a thing of beauty too. Now, I recently visited my office and managed to capture this fantastic skyline of Gurugram. Now, at a closer crop, you'll find plenty of details in the photo, and more fascinatingly, unlike most other high-res modes that I've tested on various other smartphones, the one on the M51 doesn't overexpose the highlights either, which is great. Coming to the macros, well, let's just let the image speak for itself, shall we? Here's a macro sample from the phone, which, as you can tell, offers excellent sharpness around the tiny brown leaves. Now, here's the photo clicked with the main lens. Impressive, right? Now suffice it to say, the M51's macro sensor is actually very usable and I had a gala of a time clicking ultra close-ups with it. Now the wide angle sensor clicks beautiful photos on face value, and the thing I like the most here is that there is no disparity when switching from the standard to the wide angle sensor. Unfortunately, at a closer crop, the images showcase washed out corner details and at times slightly janky focus around the center. But so long as you don't pixel peep every image, the wide angle photos from the M51 are definitely serviceable. Now coming to the low light photos, the M51 is a class apart here too, and while the shot with the night mode disabled had some lens flaring around the lamppost in the front of a house, and the phone also struggled to bring out details from the darker parts of the shot, the photo with the night mode enabled corrected all these issues and offered a much better composition which I could instantly share without much edits. As for the selfies, I absolutely loved the results I got from the M51. Now to be fair, my skin tone isn't very accurate here and it might appear as if I have bronzer on my cheeks. But in all fairness, no pun intended, the handset has captured every bit of detail on my face and there's no skin softening going on here either. Even the portrait selfie looks quite good, albeit I suppose the phone could have a slightly neater cutout around my unruly hair. As for the low light selfies, well, the M51 is a pretty sharp shooter here too, and with the screen flash enabled, you should be able to get away with a gram-worthy image even under pitch darkness.
In terms of videos, the Samsung Galaxy M51's 1080p 30fps video clip from the rear camera actually has me the most impressed. But before I talk about that, here is a sample. So this right here is a 1080p 30fps clip from the Samsung Galaxy M51. Now do let me know in the comments below as to how you rate this clip on a scale of 1 to 10, be it in terms of the stability, the audio captured by the built-in microphone, or just the colors in the image and the dynamic range in the distance. Now I should tell you that I am shooting this clip at around 5 o'clock in the evening and the sky is bright blue right now. So if you see any white bits in the clip, that means that the phone is not exposing the sky properly. But from what I can see on the viewfinder, it is actually looking really nice. So let me just zoom into the board as well, see how the zooming capabilities are. Not bad. So this is at 4.3x zoom, by the way guys. So this is how the footage would look like at 2x zoom. Here's 4x and here is 10x.
So as you can clearly see, the footage looked crisp, had excellent colors, and goddamn that stability was on point, wasn't it? Also, the audio captured from the built-in microphone sounded stellar to my ears too, so all things considered, really happy with the video shooting capabilities of the M51 here.
Okay guys, so this right here is a 1080p 30fps camera sample from the Samsung Galaxy M51. Now, same drill as always, you have to tell me if the colors look nice in the camera, in the footage, and you also have to tell me how the built-in audio is from the one captured by the built-in microphone. Now, from what I can see on the viewfinder, this footage looks actually really crisp. The stability also feels like it feels like it's not all that stable, but at the same time I feel like it's doing a better job at stability than Samsung Galaxy M31s that I reviewed a while ago. Now again, I'll have to check this in post, but so far things are looking great for the Samsung Galaxy M51.
And for all the modders in the audience, you will be glad to know that the M51 comes with level 3 support for Cam 2 API, meaning down the line, if a Google Cam mod is made available for this phone, you will be able to leverage all the features of that port.
So, for its asking price of Rs 25,000 for the 6GB RAM variant and 27,000 for the 8GB RAM variant, I think Samsung Galaxy M51 is an excellent buy. Now, it goes without saying that you can get a better performing smartphone for less, but the fact remains that the performance delta this time around isn't as wide as compared to what it would have been if Samsung was using the Exynos 9611 processor with this phone. Add to that this phone's excellent cameras and its phenomenal battery life, and I think Samsung has a winner on its hands. So if you were thinking about getting the Samsung Galaxy M51, I'd say go for it. This is quite possibly the best Samsung smartphone launched this year. But guys, that wraps up my full review of the Samsung Galaxy M51. Now do let me know in the comments below if you want to see more content around the M51. What kind of videos do you want to see? Let me know all of that in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, do give us a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. Until next time, this is Prateek from Mr. Phone signing off.